knife, pull me closer, and I'd be like,
Hello. Hello. And welcome to The Spark with me, your host, C2. I am here with nobody. Jess is taking a hiatus from the show. Not for any other reason than she's got life to do. As we all do, baby. So I'm going to be here by myself today, and then I will have other guests come on. I have some Galaxy Brain folks that I think would be really good guests on the show. I'm gonna do the Trident part. This is The Spark on the Trident Network, a three-pronged digital entertainment network. We do podcasts, we do shows, we do live shows, we do shows on YouTube, we do pre-recordings on YouTube, which you can find all of these shows on YouTube as well. Will this work when I do this? Yes. Follow us on all the social medias, and if you want, you should subscribe. You should subscribe to The Spark on all the platforms so that you can support the artists making their art. And now, onto the show. So I was doing virtual reality with my roommates last night. Very interesting virtual reality. I've just gotten into VR. I was not like a person who was like excited for VR. I wouldn't say I was a person who was excited to be in VR and to do VR. Not for any other reason than just like I like video games just fine. I don't think video games need to be more than what they are. They're pretty engrossing by themselves. But I was I was given a VR headset by one of my friends. I had tried VR. I was in Canada visiting a friend. Shout out to Vortsky. And we played VR. She has a VR headset. Her and her boyfriend both have VR headsets. And I played VR, and I thought it was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing. And I've done Disney Quest. I did Disney Quest. And which slapped in the 90s, by the way. Slapped. If you look up, I don't want to try and explain Disney Quest. It was basically, Disney Quest was a large Disney-owned building, obviously, called Disney Quest. And it was filled with, like, high-tech video games. Like, it was filled with, like, and it was, like, VR, and there was, like, I'm gonna, not C2 talking about Disney Quest again. No. I'm not gonna talk about Disney Quest, but it was filled with high-tech shit. Like, high-tech video games, high-tech, fun, gamey things. And I loved Disney Quest when I went to Disney Quest, which surprises me that I'm like not really, I wasn't into VR, but I tried VR at Verdsky's. I thought it was so cool. I actually like made a mental note while I was there to like not try and play it really, because I was there for my friend and not for the VR headset. And I played a couple rhythm games and it was great. I get back here. It turns out I have a friend who doesn't want to be using their Oculus anymore. So he gave that to me. He's like, I don't really use this. Your community seems like they really want you to do VR stuff. So like, here, take this off my hands. So I start doing VR. And I'm doing it. And it's really interesting. When you first start doing VR, it's weird. It's just weird. It's weird to have the thing on your head, and like Oculus is not comfortable. That's its like big thing. So already like I got the most uncomfortable one. Not like ungratefully, but like it's funny when I like get into VR, I got the most uncomfortable headset. So it's really hard to keep on your head. It's hard to keep on your head. And it's hard to stay in the part of the lens. And I don't know if this is because I have astigmatism, but it's hard to stay in the part of a lens that like is showing you VR. It's showing you the VR. It's hard to stay in that part of the lens. So you're kind of like the whole time. And so that's hard, and it hurts your head, and the battery doesn't really last for that long. My battery doesn't really last for that long. I would say it lasts for about 3 to 4 hours, which is actually the only amount of time that I should probably be in VR. But so I get this headset, and I'm learning VR, and it's interesting to me how uncomfortable it is. And yet, how my eyeballs feast. It's interesting to me how uncomfortable the headset is. It's very uncomfortable. Like, it's not great. And my glasses, I needed to wear my glasses in there. I don't wear my glasses in there now because I don't really need them in there. I guess they say that you're supposed to wear them. But I was not wearing them. Or I stopped wearing them because I would push up my glasses like right here and then put the headset on, and then it would just smash my face. The headset would smash into my face, and my glasses would just like pierce into the middle of my head. Smokey! How are you, Smokey McHaggis? I'm talking about, I'm explaining my intro to VR. So I'm at the part where I'm explaining, like, wearing the headset is very uncomfortable. It's not comfortable. It gives me a headache when I wear it. But there's something about being in VR, too, which is weird, where I'm like, yes, my eyeballs, they feast. I am here in the reality. So that's interesting. That, like, feeling of being like, this feels weird in my body. This feels weird on my body. And then also being like, but I want more. So it's really great. It's really great that it'll only stay on for about 3 hours. And I'm noticing, and I'm like, oh, I got to get back in there. Like, I'm learning VR, and I have a couple of cool games, and I'm like, I got to get back in there. Ooh, this is cool. Ooh, this is exactly I like experiencing this new reality. I'm like, I love this. But it's weird. It was so weird because it like hurt to do. It was like, it hurt to do. So, but it was fun. Weird. So then I try out a new game. So I beat one game, and the movement on it is teleportation. So you're not like, it's keeping me still, so it's giving me a sense of equilibrium. I play another game that has free locomotion, which means your vision is moving around freely, but your body is standing still. So as soon as that started to happen, I immediately was like, oh no, like I was not ready for it. I didn't think it would bother me that much, but it really did. And I tried to push through it, which I'm still like, I really thought, I was like, oh, I'll get over it. I'll stabilize. It'll be great. Did not stabilize. Made myself really sick. I made myself really, really sick. Made myself super sick. And I was surprised. I was like, wow, I like really effed my ass up. But I was playing virtual, so then I haven't gone back in until last night when me and my roommates were hanging out, and we played Sculpt VR, where you're building things like you could just build stuff. You build stuff and mold it and like change the colors of it and build stuff. Need one of those platform things with the like all the way treadmill thing under you. You literally said that and I was envisioning like, if only I had a special platform that was and then I think about there's a scene in, I think it's First Kid. This is a niche reference. There's a scene in First Kid, I think it's First Kid, where they're in the mall and he's on, or is it Blank Check? It's one of those. And he's in the mall and he's on the 3D thing and there's like a hitman coming to kill him in the mall and there's like another, and like I think it's First Kid because I think Sinbad, is Sinbad in First Kid? Wait. Yes, okay, it's First Kid. So he's like on this like virtual reality thing. Do you know this reference? So he's on this virtual reality thing and he's like pew pew pew. And where'd my brain go? And then there's like a hitman that's gonna come kill him, but he's shooting people, but it's like, yeah, I need one of those. Tangent. Stay on topic. But this is I did the sculpt in the air with my friends and it was really fun. But while I was experiencing all of this virtual reality stuff that I've been experiencing for the past few weeks, 4 weeks. I think 3 weeks. I think it's only been 3 weeks. I was struck by, I mean, like, struck, like, as in, like, well, no shit, that, like, how much allegory and metaphor, like, you can take from virtual reality and the experience of virtual reality and apply it to our reality, apply it to the 3D reality. And, like, I kept on getting these, like, bursts of, like, oh my God, that's, like, real life. And the most recent, that's like real life. That's like reality. The most recent example of that is when last night we're in this game and it's called Sculpt 3D. And in it, you can put objects into the world and move them and sculpt them. And you do it with the controllers and you're just, and you're pulling in and you're pulling out and you're pulling in and you're pulling out and you're molding the world. And none of us had ever played. We downloaded it and we started with just a landscape. And I was like, oh, here's what we can do. So we'll each take turns building something in the landscape and then we'll build on each other's landscapes as we go. And it was so, like, there's a wealth, just this exercise of us doing this was so, like, it gave me language for things that I know, but, like, or it's hard to explain. So there's a function in the game where you're pulling in and you're pulling out. As we're playing, I notice, this is like the third time we go around, like we're all adding stuff. And I notice when I add stuff, it looks like fresh. It looks fresh and like clean and structurally sound. Like when I add stuff, it's there. But then we switch headsets. We take the headset off. And I give the headset to Brian. Brian and Kelsey are my roommates. I give the headset to Brian, he adds stuff, and then he gives the headset to Kelsey, and then she adds stuff, and then it's my turn again. But by the time it gets back to me, what I have created, this is fucking crazy, in this program, what I have created is, like, fallen away. It's like not really what it fully was. It is an approximation of what it is. But for me, it's different. But for them, they see what they see. And I believe it's something to do with the function of like it's something to do with the function of the program in that, like, if we're always pushing and pulling and like manipulating the space, it's probably going to lose it's gonna lose density, or not respectability. What is it called? It's gonna lose integrity. It's gonna lose integrity because we've been zooming in and out so much, and really manipulating the whole space. And I figured that's probably because of the program, but then I'm like, this is like regular life, where this is just like we think everybody sees what we see. We think everybody sees what I put there. And they kind of do. And they could describe it to me and it would be accurate. But as the finer details exist, there are things that I can see that nobody else can see, especially if it's something that I created. And that we there is like a desperate need, and there is a desperate need for people to see what you see and understand what you understand. But we all have different VR helmets on, so I can only see my version. But like in this exercise that we did, it was like 3 different people using the same brain. And it was like, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same for me. And I was like, oh, this is why we get so frustrated, because we feel like sometimes we need people to see what we see. But I don't know, and the way that we see it. And there are some people who can, which is a whole other thing. There are some people who you feel like can, but I was like, I don't think anybody, I really think we're all just, we're doing our best to connect and see the same things, but ultimately you're never going to be really on the same page, and that's not the point. Like, it's not the point isn't to see the exact same thing. The point was, can we make something good out of the things that we do have? Like, can we see it enough where I can then add to it, was like the game. Like, we were in the landscape, and I made like water, and I just filled one of the like holes with water. And then Brian made a bridge. And then Kelsey was decorating the landscape. And the other thing that was cool is that we were all doing different kinds of things that made it a real place. Like, that made it. And then like Kelsey was decorating the hillside with berries. And then I came back in, and then there was like this weird floating square, so I made that look like a sci-fi monolith. And then Brian came back in, and he made a castle. And like a bridge, and like for the bridge. And then Kelsey put clouds, in the air, which we weren't really building anything in the air except for the monolith. But then she put clouds in the air, and then what did I do? And then I went back in there. And I was like, what if we made it like a dome? And I like put a dome in. And then when we zoomed all the way out, you could see the dome. And it's like, oh, this is like a dome. But then you can go inside the dome, and you could stand in it and see. So like each of us was adding our like special thing that made it this like wondrous place, even though it had lost all of its integrity. By the end of it, it was all smoothed over. It was all like approximation of what it was. Like, by the end of the exercise, when the helmet finally turned off, I was sitting. So then during my turn, instead of adding anything, I just looked at everything, because I wanted to look at all of it. Like, we had made so much stuff, and I was like, I just want to look at everything. And I'd get big and then go onto the castle, and I would sit on the castle, and I would look out onto the lake, into the trees. And then I went up into the clouds, and I sat on a raindrop, because Brian had made it rain. And I sat on a raindrop, in the clouds and there's all this rain around me. And I was sitting, and I was looking at the cloud, just looking at the clouds, sitting. Oh, and then I like went and sat at another place and like sat and was just looking at the clouds, and then it shut off. And the helmet was like, all right, that shut off. And every experience that I have experienced in VR is like, oh, wow, that's like real life. Which is funny because it's like, oh, well, duh, it's virtual reality. And I'm like, no, but like, when I was doing that, I was like, this is meditation. When you can zoom out, and you can zoom that far out on your own right now. But when you zoom out and you see everything, it's working together and happening. It feels much better, calmer to zoom, and then you can zoom back in. And just be there with everything because you can see it all working and happening. If you zoom out, if you try to cultivate the power to zoom out, and if you've ever done virtual reality, or you've ever done like a sim game, any kind of sim game, if you've ever done that, you know what that looks like. You know what that zoomed out feeling looks like, and how you feel about what's going on while you're zoomed out. And it was so fun. It was so fun to be like, yeah, this is what it's like. This is it. This is what it's like. Yeah, it's virtual reality. No shit. That's what it's like. But it like, it seals a lot for me about like how things work. We already make stuff about how things work. VR. Liam! Yes, I'm talking about VR and the nature of reality. It proved what it's a useful allegory. Am I thinking allegory? Metaphor? Hold on. It's an allegory if it's a story. A story or poem or picture. Maybe metaphor. I think it's a metaphor. It's a useful... What it does is provide allegory for, I guess, my version of what I know to be the nature of reality. Because it's not going to be yours by default unless you jive with what I'm saying, which is unless you're on the same frequency as me. But yes, there's parts of it that are interesting. And the part that I found the most interesting to me, and this, I don't know if this is just because I'm a gamer, but like I tried to push through like VR sickness. I felt sick, and I knew it was me being inside the VR that was making me feel sick, because of the way the movement was. But I was like, no, this will stable out. I have a fan on you helps. Yeah, no, okay, Michael. Hi, Michael. Yes, somebody else did say that having a fan on you helps. Dan, Verdsky's BF, said that. That's a no-no. Yeah. Next time I think that's what I'm going to do. Next time I train, like next time I try to go in and do free locomotion, that's what I'll do. I'll put a fan on me to practice, and that will probably help me. And I have like a fan right there. Or like the ability for a fan right there. But yes, Dan said that's what he does. And he's like the VR master. He's like 7,000 hours. He has a Vive. Thick playmat too. You think thick? I mean, I have yoga mats. I use free locomotion. The other ones feel too strange. See, God, Cosmonia's High, Liam. Cosmonia's High has to be like the master intro game, because I had the best time. We're definitely going to play Cosmonia's High on my stream. My stream, which is, by the way, I think you all know my stream already. Silly goose. Silly me, silly goose. But Just something that is different texture to your floor. I do. So I have 2 yoga mats that I lay out. That is like, that's my guide. So like I put the window outside of them, but then once I hit the edge of them, I'm like, okay, I'm getting schwasty over here. But yes, the VR. It's interesting. I think the other thing that's interesting, the two things that were interesting to me mainly were the fact that it hurt my eyes, it hurt my head before I had I have a stabilizer on it now, thank God, which makes it 1,000,000 times better. I have a stabilizer on it now, but I hadn't had one, and it really hurt to play. But I wanted to play. I'm like, is that just like an ADD gamer person thing where you're just like, I don't care if my body decays, I want to collect and find. I don't know. Oh my God, I would love to play a game like, see, VR, bish, you're back in it. But the fact that it made me sick and I was like, oh, I'm gonna push through, and the fact that it hurt me and I was like, I would like to continue, was interesting. I do think, but it's hard to say. I think there is a general panic right now amongst humanity about tech. And while I agree that there are technologies, I agree that technology can always be used to serve. Oh, and we came up with a new concept called the tentacle man, and that's the long tentacle of capitalism, who is the same tentacle man as white supremacy, who is the same tentacle man. They are the same tentacle man, and the tentacle, I think we were talking about, and then we were talking about how the tentacle, third parties are the tentacle man. And then we were naming companies that are tentacle man. So think Groupon. Groupon is tentacle man. Lyft and Uber, tentacle man. TSA, tentacle man. I thought you meant the guy in that game Vertigo. Oh, dude, that could be tentacle man. He seems like he's not bad. Is he bad? Tentacle Man's bad. I mean, objectively bad. It's just the destructive force in the universe is Tentacle Man. Like, I can say bad, but like everything serves its purpose, so don't want to say. Okay, well, fuck. Okay, fine. So he seemed like he wasn't bad, but I might be wrong. He was also really scary. But yes. Where was I going with this? Shit, where was I going with this? Tentacle Man is bad. Don't let Tentacle Man in. That's Tentacle Man. You don't let him in. Frickin' F. I was making a good point, too. Does anyone remember? Dome Wave! I was making a really good point. Tentacle Man. Oh, different companies that are part of it. Thank you, Smokey. You're a gem. A gorgeous gem. People are upset. They're scared. There's hope is home. Hope is home. Yes. Hearts in the chat for hope, everyone. Hearts in the chat for hope. Hearts for hope. I'll do one more guy. Hearts for hope, chat. Okay. So it's less than 3. You can type it in less than 3 and it will also give you a heart. People, or a Sava heart. Nice, Smokey. People are scared of tech, and I get it because there are things that are scary. If I was a simple washerwoman, and my job was to take people's laundry, they give me coins. Take people's laundry, I clean their laundry, and I make it all nice. I put a little bit of essential oil on it. Waft it out. Give them their bundle of sweetly freshly laundered clothes, and I'm like, this is my craft. I'm a washerwoman. This is my craft. I wash. And they love me for it, and I get paid for it. And then some fucking white guy fucking makes a machine that, like, whatever squeezes your shit. Worse, it's a whole machine and it shakes it up and washes your clothes for you. Washes your clothes for you. For who? For everyone? Bada bing. Bada bing. Washerwoman loses her job to the washing machine. The sweet washerwoman. So I get it. I get that we are scared because sometimes things are fine the way they are. And some may argue that somebody could still be a washerwoman. We do still have dry cleaners. We do still have a lot of things that are offshoots of that. There are always going to be things for us to do. I don't think that all of us using technology is bad. I think there are already cashless stores. It's pretty scary. I don't know the world I'm trying to think of. Well, that's our job, right? Is to think about how does this make things better? And how can this actually help? How is this a tool for me? Because washerwoman could shit on the washing machine, right? Or washerwoman could use the washing machine and then use the time that she saved. She could still be the washerwoman because, you know, people aren't going to trust this washing machine and not going to be able to afford to buy it for a long time. And if she's a business owner, she could definitely buy a washing machine to help her do her washing. Maybe she could write it off on taxes in the medieval times. But if you look at it like it's a problem and you only see the ways in which it's a problem, that's all you'll see for any of this shit. Because if you were to give a smartphone to an elderly gentleman in 1975, he'd have a heart attack. It would blast his brain grapes open if you gave him, and that's all we do is make cool shit, but it's to know ourselves better. It's like they say in a seed, every seed is a tree because every seed has the code within it to make a whole tree. So every seed is a tree. It's just on a different timeline of the tree. And it's time works, time's happening all at once. And this is what I keep saying, which some people get mad at me when I say this, which is fine. Every generation, every iteration of person has thought that the world is going to end. And in a way, if time is all happening at once, they're right. And the world actually has ended a few times. Historically speaking, in the entire history of humanity, there have been cataclysms. Things happen here on this old earth. The reality of Skynet used to scare me when I was younger. Like, shit, what if that happens? I think the thing that I want to engage in more is the stuff, like, understand all, like, the dark and the light, right? So understand about Skynet. But in order to really understand about Skynet, too, we also have to try and understand about, like, solar punk. Is anybody familiar with solar punk? Anyone? Solar punk is like a new sci-fi style that is based on a future where nature and technology merge. And we we cultivate nature alongside our technology, and we use our technology to bolster nature. And it is similar to the like the 1960s utopia drawings, except plants everywhere. Look up solar punk. Not really. It's like if the apocalypse in Horizon had not happened, is what it is about. It's so Horizon is maybe like a seedling of solar punk, but solar punk is like the future you want. Like solar punk is like, what is the best possible scenario right now? And it's solar punk. And it's the thing about Tentacle Man is Tentacle Man would like you to believe that Tentacle Man is all there is. Tentacle Man would like you to believe that the apocalypse is inevitable. You should give everything to me because I am all there is. And Tentacle Man is a little bitch. And he's a liar. And if a person can draw solar punk, the fact that the idea of solar punk exists means that it's real. It's the same for Skynet, unfortunately. If you can think about it, it's real. If you can conceive of it, if you can actually conceive of it, because there's some people who will tell you, oh, well, that's not real. Okay, for you, it's not real because you're not there yet. But if a mind, because we are creators, if a mind can think it, it's real. Who thought about this? Who thought about this before it was real? And if you can get enough minds to think about what one mind sees, even just a close approximation of it, you can get there because we make stuff. And maybe it won't look all the same. That's why we got to troubleshoot and let people be who they are. But it's James Cameron's fault. No, well, it's our fault for being complacent. I'll say that. That's the only thing, and it's not, and I shouldn't say it's our fault, like, we're the worst, but, like, we're trained and taught to ignore feelings in our body, just like we are, for an experience. And I guess that's also part of being alive. We're alive in this body. Sometimes we do things to just experience life. Sometimes we do stuff because we're alive. Like, why do we do drugs and stuff? Because we're alive. Nothing lets you know you're alive more than being like, what if I die though? Or like, what if I feel a little weird for a while? Nothing lets you know you're alive more. But there's also power in understanding the nature of your own existence. And I shouldn't say of existence, because as I'm talking and as I'm learning myself, there is no just reality that everyone sees. Everything is approximation of what everybody sees. So you see basically that. But there is no one thing. It's different for everyone. And it appears differently as it's put through different people. But we don't have to be scared of that because that's real. That is, we don't have to be scared of technology as if it's only bad, because the nature of everything is that it's not ever only bad. We would like to believe that a person or a thing or a group or whatever is only bad, because that's easy. It's easy to believe that things are bad and good. Farsky! I love you! It's easy to believe that things are bad and good when you're on the good side. Isn't that funny? Even though It depends on who you ask, who's bad and good, especially now. And I think that is a sticking point too, because we want to believe that our reality, oh God, if you could just see what I see, we want to believe that ours is the right one. And even as I say this, I'm like, but mine is really the right one. Drugs, exactly, coolest. Be gay, do drugs. We want to believe that ours is the right one. We want to believe, because it's so real. It's like so real for me. It's like, yes, and it is real, but it is most real to you. And everyone else can only see a vague approximation of what, and that's why we make art, because we might as well try. That's why we make stuff, because we might as well try to show you what I'm seeing, even if you're not going to really see it the way that I see it. You'll see a different version of it, and when it's really there, it'll be great. But all this like, oh, like, I'm not saying, you know, AI and like technology, I'm not saying it's only good for you, because it's not. There are certain people, Minecraft's here! Coolest Minecraft-versky! Oh, you guys are great! There are people in this world, I'm going to say this, that should not be doing VR. They're not even in their human body. They should not be putting on goggles and going somehow further away from their body than they already are. There are people who should not be doing that. But it's not my business. It's also not my business. People can do whatever they want. But just because, that's why I don't do acid. Yes, exactly. You know what's good for you. That's why I do acid. Because I have found, for me, the thing that makes me most, a lot of time, the thing that makes me most at home is coming back home. The thing that has me feeling most at home is the opportunity to leave and then come back. But that's for me. And there will probably be cases of people giving themselves psychosis with VR in the future. I believe that 100%. Nothing is like good or bad in the way that we need it to feel safe. There's no stopping what technology is doing, because at this point we're just making it. It's just another project. And like when you zoom out, and that's the other thing about it, is like when you zoom out, you can see where it fits. But if you're only zoomed in to whatever it is, you can't see, and you're like, it's hurting me. But like, we make this place. We're the boss. Like, Tentacle Man wants you to think Tentacle Man is the boss, but Tentacle Man's not the boss, because Tentacle Man is only tentacles. It needs other things. It needs something to exist in order for it to exist. Groupon couldn't exist without all of those companies. The only reason, we think about all the biggest Tentacle Man corporations that exist, that are Tentacle Man, they only exist because other things exist. They're not like advertising. Like, think about Twitch. Twitch. Like those ads, the boss, not the boss. Not the boss. Not Evil Corp. That's not what I'm saying. Listen to me. Tentacle Man's just being Tentacle Man, first of all. We call it evil because it is not a creative force. It is a destructive, what's the word? Extractive force. We perceive that to be evil because we're creators. However, the people who use the force as a tool Do not see it as evil because they're also creators. Tentacle Man work for you if you learn how to manipulate Tentacle Man. That's a completely different thing. I think that a lot of movie and TV narratives perpetuate this false narrative of good and evil for the convenient plot drama. Yes, because we like that. And that's what we're doing in our lives too. That's what we do in life. We make up dramas and then we decide who's the villain and who's the hero and what happens and how that's a story. We like that. That's if you're in a drama, if you're experiencing a drama or somebody you know is experiencing a drama and then they're just experiencing it. They're experiencing it so much. You like that or you need that. It's happening for you. You're either, if it's like, I do appreciate the thought process. We need to remember we are in a book story. Yeah, exactly. And it's not saying, and then this is not saying that like, everything that happens in your life is you but like on a macro level it is. Everything that happens in your life are things that you are orchestrating. That doesn't mean, because then we have to still be out here when we say like, it doesn't like, we're not talking about like, this is your fault. Someone's fault is not even in that place. Because when we're out here like this, things are happening and we are experiencing life. We are here to be alive. We're being alive. Part of being alive is experiencing all the shit. All of it. Whatever is happening. And understanding that we are creating it. So perspective-wise, you get to a point and you can be at different points in seeing what's going on in your life. Hello, Carly and chat. Happy to be here live and experiencing all this stuff. What up, say the fuzz? Zooming in, zooming out, making stuff. Understanding that the stuff that you make will not be perceived accurately as you see it, but you put it out there anyway. What was I saying? I was saying something else about it doesn't do us any good to do the good and evil thing. It's a waste of time. The categorizing part is a waste of time. And the universe does not recognize good, evil. It recognizes what am I giving my attention to? And if you're spending all your time, notice how everything's getting gayer because the homophobes hate gay people so much, but everything somehow is gayer than it's ever been. We're the gayest we've been in a minute. Do you know why? Do you know why we're so gay? Because there are people who hate it so much. That's why. What you resist persists. So the more energy you give to something, whether you like it or not, blows up that thing. So that's why I'm always like, I don't do apocalypse games. Because if I'm out here being like, yes, the world is ending, what am I doing? Why am I wasting my time with that? Also, it's old. It's an old story. It's not interesting. It's not particularly interesting. And it's not using the technology and knowledge that we have right now to tell a better story. Even as a straight man, I'm somehow gayer than I used to be. It's a brave new world. What are you putting nail polish on? What's the gay stuff you do? All right, everyone. Real quick, put the gay stuff you do in chat. I'm trying to think the gayest thing I do. The gayest thing I did recently was chop all my hair off. I chopped it off because I wanted to look a little gayer. I was like, this long hair is great, but I want to look gayer this summer. And so I'm going to chop it. I'm going to chop it off. Everyone, come on. I need to know the gay things you do. We are the gayest we've ever been, and I need this data. It's weak gay stuff, but I hug my male friends more often now. No, that's gay. That's gay. I love swooning over cats. Gay. That's gay. Yes. What else? That's gay. Ooh, we're getting gay. We're getting gay, chat. I suddenly can think of how I've made my life gayer. Think about it. Don't think about being politically correct. Because the twist is everyone's gay. Even if you're straight, you're gay. We're all gay. One love. We're gay. As a joke. You can be straight, but we're all gay. We're just gayer. Come on. I need everyone here. Yay! I'm like gay peer pressuring everyone. Gay, come on. Gay. I'm trying to think of another thing that I do that's gay. That's gayer. I was gonna say it's a very bisexual thing to say. I sit around naked and look at myself. Gay. I've said this to the missus before that if that's a fucking good looking dude. Gay. Gay, gay, gay. That's gay. That's gay. Hell yeah. We're gayer than we've ever been. Everybody's gayer than we've ever been, and it's beautiful. Oh, definitely somehow attract more femmes and queer women in my circles. And they're my main support system recently. That's gay! Let's go! It's fun in here. It is, Edie. We're talking about the universe and everything. We're talking about the universe and everything. We're gay. We're gay. Everyone's gay. And as I think of gay things that I do, I'm going to post them in Discord. But yes, gotta liven it up a little bit. We gotta be kind of goofy about it, you know? Like when all the artists were talking about how shitty AI was at hands, I die laughing. That's hilarious. That's so funny. I die laughing. They're like, look at these fucked up hands bullying the AI for being bad at hands. I'm laughing. I'm dying. The good and bad thing will also help you see people for who they are. I think a lot of the time we look at people and we go, you're a good person, you're a bad person. You're a good person, you're a bad person. You're a good person, you're a bad person. And we try to categorize them to keep ourselves safe, which is okay. It's okay to want to be safe because they're fucking people. But if you can zoom out a little bit, zoom out. Good, bad might not be the criteria. For me or not for me. And it doesn't matter why. Even if you're fucking whatever. Even the bad people who have bad views and don't, that's fine. That's for a reason. To keep them away from other people who they shouldn't be around. Like, as much as, like, we do not like homophobia or racism, but it's really great when homophobes and racists are not around the people that they don't like. So even though we hate that, we don't like it, it's good to know who's a racist homophobe so that you're not around them too much, especially if you are a person of color who's gay. Can you imagine? And then or the times when you're like, that person's good, and then they do something that you would think is bad. Then what do you do? What do? You just, like, you would think it's bad. Or, like, not bad enough. Like, we're always dealing in gray areas. Like, how much shit have you gotten up to in your life? And if a person knew about the worst thing that you ever did, that you think the worst thing that you ever did, and that was the first thing somebody knew about you, would they think you're a good person? I don't know. Probably not. If that's what they're going off of. For sure not for me. If they only knew that thing about me, for sure, they'd be like, oh, that person is garbage. But my entire length of human experience is complicated. And so is everyone's. Even the people we think are bad. They're complicated. Even yes, you know who I'm talking about. Yes. Even that one. Complicated. It's complicated. And unfortunately, all of those people we think are bad are here to be that. If somebody's doing a thing and they're doing it good, they were here to do it, even if it sucks. I had this discussion with my wife and later my queer femme therapist, and the boomers in my family are largely living with some repressed gayness, but they never had the words or safe to express it. I often wonder who much healthier they'd be if they could express that. I also do that. Not that one. Edie. Um, I feel that way too. See the fuzz? I feel that way about all of the men in my family. I was actually speaking to, this is actually a really good story. I was hoping I get to tell this story, and now I get to tell. I'm from the southwest side of Chicago. Hold on. It's kind of made me cross that my niece comes to be telling me she loves another woman like I was going to disown her. She was scared to tell me. She said, because you were a dude. I was like, so? I was her best man at their wedding. I love that, Liam. Liam's cool. You forgot I was cool? Niece? Come on. Check it. I'm hip. Turns the chair around. I'm your cool uncle. Liam's the best. Liam is the best. We love Liam. So I'm from the southwest side of Chicago. Southwest side white people are feral. And I am no exception. But all of the men that I grew up with, and all of the men that have ever been in my family, have drinking problems and also aggression problems. I think that is part of that repressed gayness. It's not safe to be gay. And what they would do, Southwest Side Chicago, raise up, fum. What they would do, and Kelsey was talking about this. Funny, she was like, in the South, she was telling me, in the South, the little boys, because she just went there to visit her family. She was in Arkansas, and she was like, the little boys fight. They fight in the yard. And she's saying it to me, and I realize another reality shift for us, perspective shift. We're bringing our realities into perspective. So she's like, these boys fight in the yard. And I was like, yeah. For me, I'm like, yeah. Yeah. The boys fight in the yard. Yeah, in the summer. Boys fight. They fight each other. That's how they get it out. That's how they got the gay zoomies. So they can't touch each other. They can't hug each other. They got to fight. Not quite like that, but for me, I was like, yeah, boys fight in the yard. And she was like, what? Boys fight in the yard? I was like, yeah, when I was a teenager, all the kids that we hung around with, all the guys that we hung around with, they got the gay zoomies. All the guys that I hung around with, they would call fight season. And they would fight in the yard. They would fight each other like a scrap. They're not trying to kill each other, but they're fighting a scrap. They're having a scrap in the yard. And I thought that was normal. But here's the thing that I used to do when I was 20. So I'm 20 years old. We're all feral Southwest Side kids. They would start fighting, and then they'd get really into it. And then at some point, I started yelling, kiss! Kiss each other. Kiss! And you know what they did, chat? They kissed each other. You're going to tell two boys, guys, who are fighting to kiss each other? They better kiss. And you know what they did? And I got them to kiss every time. And you know what? That became the highlight. They would kiss. They would look at me. First, I would just yell it. And if anybody got in anybody's face, I'd yell kiss. Kiss each other. Kiss. 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 And then other people would yell. C2 being gay peer pressure on us for years. Exactly. And then you know what started happening, chat? Instead of fighting, they would look at me, make a face, point to a guy, kiss. So instead of fighting each other, they'd start kissing aggressively. They were still fighting when I wasn't around. But when I was around, them boys were kissing. They were kissing each other in the yard. And it was hot. And it was hot and gay. It wasn't safe for a very long time for our boomers to be openly gay. It wasn't that long ago that it had incredibly sad repercussions for a lot of people, let alone the whole AIDS epidemic in the 80s. There were lots of queer, awesome people that we lost to AIDS, and maybe there weren't enough of those leaders to show the newbies the way for a while. Yeah. It's like we can talk a big talk as millennials for, uncoiling out uncoiling out of the survival mentality. But the reality is that it hasn't been, we're in like the age of Aquarius now. So we're coming up to a prosperous age, even though I know it doesn't feel like it. Spiritually, mentally, humanity consciously is in a very prosperous state. We're in a very abundant state of like absorbing and growing and changing and new, and it's really great. And why it is so hard for us to connect with our ancestors in this way is because a lot of what they did and had to do is for survival. Especially, you know, the special life-changing ones who were in like peril, like who were in life, like think about like the civil rights movement, think about AIDS epidemic, think about like these were like the fucking suffragettes and shit, like and not even to like even talk about our native population. I can't even, Lord, our native indigenous population. Sorry, that one, I like remembered the absolute monstrosity of America, and I was like, oh, you ever just, damn, us white people, embarrassing. But yes, we can get on our high horse and talk about how we're healed. But we got there because they sacrificed their entire selves for our survival. And we would do well to remember that. I have to remember that sometimes when I feel any sort of sadness or lament what could have been, I juxtapose that with their other destructive behaviors and have to unpack that. Do you ever remember the history of America and then dissociate for a bit? Well, and that's it. That's the unpacking, is like, maybe things aren't just good or bad. And maybe for me or not for me is my route. Maybe, and like you can say, there are things that are bad. It's like, I mean, yeah, sure. But I spent a really long time categorizing that, and now what do I do? Now that I've categorized it. Now what do I do with my time? It's not so much that it's what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. It's like, how do you want to spend your time? Because the bad things, the thing about naming things good and bad is that the bad things will always exist, because in order for there to be good, there must be bad. In order for there to be dark, there must be light. In order for there to be coffee, there must be decaf. That's actually probably not true. I don't know what the opposite of coffee is. What would the opposite of coffee be? Milk? No. They go together. But again, so does dark and light. You ever see the yin yang? What's it like? Oh, for there to be coffee, there must be beer. And what do we love? What do we love? A vodka Red Bull. That's what we love. Okay? Why is vodka Red Bull so good then? Riddle me this. I ask you. The chaos of the opposites, yo. That's for me, though. It's dangerous deciding some people are bad. It means you can just justify doing bad things to them. I prefer thinking about harm reduction. That is a good use of your time, I think. That is the sauce. What you resist persists. And so, if you give your energy to what you actually want to persist, that is a better use of your energy. My 20s smelled like vodka Red Bull. Yeti, if I could travel back in time and have one night of me and you in our 20s, the amount of money I would pay. One of my best friends at school was gay, and I was one of the biggest lads at school and was the one that stopped bullies, etc., and even got made head boy by one of the teachers because of it. My friend loved it because no one ever said shit to him and he could just be himself. Being tall sometimes has its advantages. Big Liam! Exactly. And other people would say that you are, you know, whatever, a gay sympathizer or whatever the hell. And they're like, you're bad for straights. I don't know. And I think what I think. And so all the other people who don't think what I'm I'm like, what's wrong with you? I think this and it's right. It's not right. It's just what I think. But it's not about right. It's about this feels better in my body. I never could stomach the Red Bull vodka combo, but I'll join you with a rum and coke if that's cool. A champion of life you are, rum and coke. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I love getting a vodka Red Bull at a show. Just one vodka Red Bull. Hey, fellow kids. I'm here at the show with the kids. Here I am at the show with the kids. I love to do that. But yes, I was thinking about the nature of reality and how my experience with virtual reality coincided quite neatly with my life experience as I was experiencing it, and I wanted to share that. Rum and Coke death held hands with vodka Red Bull in that era for me. Rum and Coke was the first drink I ever ordered. Oh, I was big on amaretto sour, which is like not for drinking. It's not for slamming down. But I loved amaretto sour. And I would get amaretto sours when I could order drinks at the bar. And then I settled on vodka soda sour, which is like a Collins, which I order because most places have vodka soda sour. So I can drink my little drink. Meanwhile, you actually need that Red Bull just to stay awake later. Not for a show now. Smokey, shut up. Smokey, I can stay up very late. Not true. If it's a show, I gotta prepare. I gotta prepare to be up. But it's true. I am only going out for like a show. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going out for nothing. I'm not going out on, like, a date. Boo. I need, like, a quad espresso these days. Oh, the reason my tongue is yellow is because I'm drinking this golden chai. I need to tell you that because I don't want anyone to be like, your tongue looks like you're unhealthy. It has turmeric in it, and that's why my tongue is yellow. Gross. But I love it. I need like a quad espresso these days. Girl, I was getting a big coffee. I got a big coffee like 3 days in a row last week. And I was like, you don't need that much coffee. You need to stop. Vodka soda is a vibe these days. I can't do as many rum and cokes anymore. Shit, if I had a Red Bull now, I'd be bouncing off the walls. And even then, I'm a little firework. I burn out quick. Y'all are great. Have I told you lately? Y'all are great. I love you. You make me laugh. I was just talking about how we have such a good time in chat because we're always doing bits. We're always just like, yeah, woo. Like, we're all like, yeah, yes, and screw that. If I'm going on a date, I need a chair. Give me a chair. Have you ever quit caffeine for a couple weeks to reset? Holy shit, it's wild. Is it great? Maybe I shall. I need it. It's the ADD, Verd. I like need it to function. My brain doesn't work without some kind of, I mean, I could do it. Here's what I'll tell you. I could do it if I was on a vacation. But then I want the coffee because it's a treat for me. I simply do not consider standing only shows anymore. If you're like, I need 10 cups a day. So I just put like a kibosh. I'm very good at tricking my brain. I just put a kibosh on when it's like, okay, that's too much coffee. But I give myself one coffee. So it's like, you go back down to one. We got to get you back on one. I'm not telling you to cut out coffee. You can only have one. And it has to be a joyless black coffee in your little cup. You jackal. I'm like, okay. Bitch, you do not need a venti iced coffee every day at 2 p.m. You freak. That's me talking to me. If I don't have a cup of tea first thing in the morning, I'm a grumpy little shite all day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I need my little treat. Give me one. Existence is brutal. Please, let me have one thing. God, I switched to tea mostly and I feel a lot less jittery, right? I need a caffeine to be human. Yeah, like, okay, I'm going to say this. Verdsky has coffee heaven at her house, and every day I was like, I'm gonna get a little treat this morning. I can't wait to have my treat this morning. Like, literally every morning I was like, oh my God, I'm having a treat. Like, I was like, so like, and if that can do it for you, if like the thing that gets you up in the morning is your favorite little coffee treat, smash it in there. Smash the espresso. Give it to me. Whatever gets you up, whatever gets you through some days, you know? But most days I shouldn't even say most days. I was not suffering at all whatsoever from real life while I was at Verdsky's. Caffeine hangovers are absolutely the worst. I skip a day or two of coffee and my head hurts. Yeah, I forget that that I'm addicted. So then there will be mornings where I'm just like doing other stuff and I don't get my coffee and I'll start feeling it and I'm like, oh, what's happening? And I'm like, oh, right. We forgot to drink out of the booby cups. No, we did. I gave up every other vice for my health. Might as well enjoy one coffee a day while I like it. There you go. That's why I say you can have some vices as a treat. I go to bed thinking about my coffee sometimes, and she has little booby cups. Verd, you got the good coffee setup. I see you and appreciate you. Yo, see the fuzz. Her setup is nice. She's got a nice grinder too, which was like my espresso powder. It's perfect. It's a perfect little coffee setup and I love it. Every day. Oh, and she made me a cortado. I love a cortado. Did somebody say booby cups? Yeah. Put all the good in the Discord, Verdsky. They got to see your setup. Ooh. I loved drinking coffee at Verdsky's. Every day. And then we'd sit together in the sun and chat with our coffees. It was nice. It's nice to have a little coffee. And I think that's it too, you know. You have a little vice, have a little fun, because we're here to live, you know? So smoke a little bit, you know? Unless you're a drug addict. Unless you're a drug addict and you need to not be doing drugs, then don't do any drugs. But unless you're an addict to something. But there's other stuff you could be addicted to. Being addicted is kind of fun. Good, bad. Choose your vices wisely. We all have them. You're a liar. I used to be like, I don't really have an addictive personality. Okay, bitch, how long did you play Apex Legends for? I don't have an addictive personality. Okay, I just played one game every day for 3 years. I don't have an addictive personality. You're lying. What? Coolest with the gift subs. I don't have my alerts. Let's freaking go. Verdsky, Dream Yeti. Coolest. Thank you for gifting 2 subs to Verdsky and Dream Yeti. Welcome to Under the Sea. You get Party Dolphin. That's Party Dolphin, chat. That's the party. I'm addicted to mediocre jokes and can't help myself. Good. You're so sweet. Coolest. Thank you for those gifted subs for the Trident Network, which goes directly to help all of the artists making stuff here on the network. It pays the Trident's bill. It pays Trident's bills. We do have some bills. So it goes to help them, but it also goes to help whenever we have the ability to, we pay people on this platform. So you're the best, coolest. I love you. I'm addicted to my video games and I apologize. No, we're all addicted to stuff. It's fun to be addicted to stuff. It's fun to live life extra. You know, that's what we're here to be in a body to do. We're here to live your life. Do your thing. Have your drama. Drink a coffee. Smoke a little weed. Have some pie. I have a real thing for baked goods. I had 3 donuts this morning. 2.5. I'll say 2.5 because I split one with Kelsey. They were so good. Living Moss. Living Moss. Drink a coffee. Smoke a weed. Live Moss. Yes. Drink a coffee, smoke a weed, live a Moss. And that, I think, is where we shall end, because I feel complete. Oh, what a good stream. Should I do these more often? Not gonna lie, I want a caffeinated drink right now. Also, not everything is an addiction. You can just have hobbies and likes. Exactly, Minecraft. Well said. Well said, my friend. I agree. But also, have a little addiction. Yeah, sometimes you're just doing it, you know? Sometimes you're just going for it. Go for it. Really go for it, you know? If you're gonna do it, freaking do it, you know? Duh, you know? I feel full. That was good. That was a good chat. It took a while for me to get to the virtual reality thing. These are the socials. So all of these episodes are on YouTube. So if you ever want to catch other Spark episodes, which I highly recommend because they're all bangers, it's with me and my friend Jess, who's taking a hiatus, but I'll have other people guesting on, and I'll do it myself alone, without her as well. But if you want to catch all the other ones that you have, go follow the Trident Network on YouTube, and you can see all the other shows that we have that are up there. The Trident Network. This network is a 3-pronged digital entertainment network. We have live shows here on Twitch. You can see the schedule in our About section. I think tomorrow, I think today is Stupid Games, Stupid Prizes at some point. So stick around here. Stupid Games, Stupid Prizes is coming up. That's what Val said, but I don't know if that's true. But we have a lot of different shows. They're really great. We have a podcast network that is bumping. The podcast network is bumping. So if you love podcasts, we have a lot of different ones, a few Disney themed ones, and like a lot of cool new ones coming up. Nice. I do love Stupid Games, Super Prizes. I think that might, Minecraft is in on Trident, by the way. Minecraft, I'm giving it up for you. You're a community member, my friend, and I love you deeply. Here I am trying to get my emotes. Give it up for Minecraft. You're all community members, but Minecraft told me specifically that he's been enjoying Trident's programming, which I love because I love all the people who program on Trident. Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on we're like shadow banned on Instagram and Facebook, so that doesn't. You can try. You can join the Discord. We don't really post in the Discord. It's early days socially for Trident, but we have a lot cooking, and we have a lot of little communities, and you are part of my community that is also part of the larger Trident. But definitely follow the YouTube, and follow on Twitch so that you can get the alerts for the shows that come up. And then if you really want to, you can be a Patreon member. You can, if like Streamlabs just said that, we have a website, and then if you really, really, really want to support Trident, you can become a Patreon member, because we do have a Patreon. So that was a long-winded description of Trident. But I do love the Trident Network, and I love programming on here, and I love the people who program on here. And I love you guys so much for coming to hang out with me on this channel, because you're my people. I think that's it. Go live life. It's a beautiful day here. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. Next show, I usually do it the third Monday of the month, or the third Sunday of the month. Next show will be on the 18th of June. So if you're there, I'll see ya. And I'll let you know in my Discord when I'm live. All right, my babies. Okay, my babies. I will see you soon.